The hundreds of thousands of so-called irregular immigrants living in Spain have been left out of the government aid promised by the executive branch to relieve the consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic. In this context, several sectors are calling for the regularization of this vulnerable community.
Last March, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic in Spain, President Pedro Sánchez made a promise. He was talking about financial assistance to vulnerable workers and companies that would alleviate the COVID-19 consequences. However, he forgot one vulnerable group, irregular immigrants.
All these promises that the government has made to all those people who are Spanish or have a legal residence, they did not receive them. Imagine a person who is in an irregular administrative situation, who has no access to anything, who has been left abandoned. And of course, the slogan of "no one has been left behind" is a lie.
As a particularly vulnerable group, they have lived and are living a particularly hard moment with this pandemic.
The housing conditions for immigrants in an irregular situation prevent them from abiding by the measures of strict confinement or social distancing. You have to think that many of them are huddled together on small apartments where that is simply impossible. The children do not have the technological resources to continue the classes as many of our children have had during this time, because when you work in the submerged economy, you cannot ask for help.
Living in the margins of government reconstruction plans, irregular immigrants survive thanks to their self-organization and the help of other associations and NGOs.
They're living from the aid boxes that, as migrant collectives, we have created. They are either living from Caritas or they are receiving support from any association that has social consciences and that fights so that no one is left behind for real.
A study by the Causa Foundation's Carlos III University challenges prejudice about irregular immigrants in Spain and shows a profile. They are mostly Latin American, young and arrive regularly. Making them legal immigrants is not only a humanitarian obligation, but it would be a contribution to the development of Spain, says the report. This has been demonstrated in other countries of the Union, such as Germany.
If they were allowed to work in whatever they do, but to make contributions to Social Security and pay direct taxes as all workers in this country do, their contribution would be possible with a value of 3,250 euros per person every year.
These associations ask the government of Spain to follow the example of other countries, such as Portugal and Italy. They have carried out regularization processes during the pandemic.
Edu Marín y Adriana Cardoso, TeleSUR, Madrid.